What are we discussing on today's Locked On Diamondbacks podcast? Another day, another injury for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and why Zac Gallen should feel shame if he can deliver a series win tomorrow.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You're listening to who? Always charismatic host of this podcast, Millard Thomas, multimedia journalist and graphic designer. So please go check out my website, MillardThomas24.diamondportfolio.com. On there, you can see all my latest work, from my packages to my articles to my photos and my graphic design. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. On today's Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, we'll talk about the D-backs gutty win in Chicago despite losing another player to injury. We'll talk about how this could be a good opportunity to see the youngsters who you should keep and who could potentially be trade bait. And then why Zac Gallen should feel shame if he can't deliver a series sweep. D-backs already won this series. Sorry for that in the teaser. I meant to say if he can't deliver a series sweep, Zac Gallen should feel shame tomorrow. So we'll discuss all that on today's podcast. But first, I want to say thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. I would not be able to do this podcast without you, my loyal listeners, sharing, subscribing, reviewing, doing all that so I could do this podcast for you. Thank you. It's free. It's available on all platforms, so please continue to tell your friends. And one of those platforms is YouTube. Please hit subscribe to Locked On Diamondbacks on YouTube. This is an interactive show. I try to go live Sunday through Thursday after D-backs games. Come in, stop by, drop a comment in the YouTube section. I'll try to read it live on air. Again, it's an interactive show. I want the conversation to be flowing. So please come join and let's have a conversation. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when I go live. Or follow me on social media because I always tweet out before I go live. At Locked On Diamondbacks on Twitter, Instagram, or look up at Creator Thomas24 for the personal account. Now, let's get into the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. All right, back here on the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, and now let's discuss D-backs gutty win against the Chicago White Sox, but sadly, it's another day where the D-backs lose a player to injury, and today's victim is Yamardo Vargas, who gets hit in the foot by pitch. He goes down in pain. He leaves the game, and then we learn later on in the game that he has a fractured foot, and it just feels like there's a black cloud hanging over the D-backs right now. No Naylor, no Suarez, no Perdomo. Excuse me, we have Perdomo. No Carroll, I meant to say. Now no Vargas. I mean, the injuries are just piling up for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But despite that, this game at least was won by some old school D-backs. Defense gave some 2023 vibes and some pitching by Ryan Nelson. And so despite the D-backs' health being a disaster and Vargas, who has been playing such good baseball. I have not been the biggest Vargas guy throughout his career. He has made stops with the D-backs. I'm always like, he's just a middling player. Like, I always thought of him like probably not that better than a Jace Peterson, because you look at his career numbers, it's not like he's really ever lit it up for any stop. But at age 33 so far with the Arizona Diamondbacks, he has been playing very well, especially on this road trip, especially with all these injuries. And so it sucks to see. I think we even got a moment with Ketel Marte. He was crying on the field during the pitching change. And I think we're all assuming he got the news that Vargas fractured his foot. And I think it just broke Ketel, like seeing half the clubhouse just down with injury. I'm sure Ketel, a guy who has dealt with hamstring issues and knows a thing or two about injury, right? One of the reasons he wasn't immediately the leading go-getter at second base for the All-Star game is because of games played this season. And so Ketel's a guy who knows how much injury sucks, how much it takes away from your ability to play games at a high level, and how sometimes you could come back and not always feel right? It just take you out of your groove. And so Ketel, I think, was just hurting for his teammates in that moment. And I think we're all hurting for Vargas and the rest of this play and the rest of the players on this D-back squad, because it sucks to see everyone go down. But the offense did just enough tonight. The end of the lineup, Alec Thomas, Jose Herrera, they deliver a couple clutch runs in the 7th. Perdomo also a clutch hit, and the D-backs do just enough to win this game. Ketel Marte continues to just make his all-star case. He's the leading vote getter now at second base, as he should be. Slash line after today, 320 average, 424 OBP, and a 608 slugging. I mean, Marte's at 15 home runs. I truly believe Marte, if he can just stay healthy the rest of the season, he's going to be in that MVP discussion, because why not? You look at Marte's numbers. This was a tweet. I want to give credit to Jesse Friedman. He posted Marte's numbers from the last 162 games. He's got 45 bombs. He has like a 290 average, a 950 OPS. He's got over 100 ribbies. Like, he is the MVP of baseball if he can play 162 games. It would either be him or Shohei Ohtani. Like, he's right there in the discussion when he's right. I would like to believe if Ketel Marte does not miss a game for the rest of the season, which is tough to do because we know he's got hammy issues and Torrey loves to sit his players. But if he doesn't miss a game the rest of the season, Marte's probably going to have 35 home runs and be right there in the MVP conversation. I don't think he can win it because guys like Ohtani will probably just have better numbers, considering he never misses games, it seems like, when he doesn't have to pitch at least. Maybe even a guy like Eugenio Suarez gets more MVP votes than a Ketel Marte, but Marte is going to finish top 5 in MVP voting, if not higher, if he can just stay healthy the rest of the year. He's been on a tear since coming back from his injury, and especially the last few weeks, he's been fantastic. And then Ryan Nelson today, really good stuff. We said he was not going to be afraid to throw that fastball against this putrid White Sox offense. And my gosh, he was not, because in this game today, he threw 87 pitches. 68 of his 87 pitches were fastballs. He threw a fastball 78% of the time. And so he was not fooling anybody out there. And it led to 7 strikeouts. And so I was saying all on the podcast yesterday, pound the over on Ryan Nelson's strikeouts, take the under on total runs in the game. I hope you guys listen to me because I think that little parlay hit. Ryan Nelson was really good, really fantastic today, and just continues to impress for Arizona. Gave up 1 hit, which was sadly a home run, but this guy's been fantastic. You take away his start against the Reds, where he gave up 7 runs in 3 innings. He has, like, after today's game, he probably has like a 1-1 ERA. Like, entering today's game with that, not counting that red start, he had a 1.37 ERA in just his starts this season. And so I imagine after today's game, that 1.37 ERA probably went even lower. And so Ryan Nelson's been so good for the D-backs this season. He's been so good for Arizona over the last calendar year. And like we keep discussing, he might actually be the D-backs pitcher of the future. Brandon Pfaadt, we still have a lot of hope for, but we might need to start recalibrating our expectations and say, you know what? Yeah, Brandon Pfaadt might have had the pedigree, might have been touted the higher prospect, but who is actually performing on the major league level? That's Ryan Nelson. So you have to give credit where credit is due. One final thought before we head into segment number 2. D-backs. Yes, Coda Kid, we need to get the sweep. He's got the broom emoji. Can we get the sweep? D-backs need it tomorrow. We'll discuss that more in segment number 3, but they have the best record in June currently. 14-7 in the month of June. Best record. Oh, we got a new listener in the YouTube chat today. Marcus Gonzalez says, what's up, Millard? What's up, Marcus? Yes, D-backs best record in the month of June. We need them to complete the sweep tomorrow. We need Zac Gallen to deliver a big game. We'll discuss more about Zac Gallen segment number 3. But so far, 14-7 in the month of June. You got, I think, 5 games left. 3 against the Marlins, the 1 against the White Sox, and the 1 against the Giants. And so our goal the whole month has been to get to 16 wins. D-backs currently at 14 with still 5 games to go. Really good pace right now, but you can't take your foot off the gas. D-backs at the time of me recording this podcast, which is at 7:59 p.m. on Tuesday, of course. D-backs are currently, let's pull up the standings. D-backs are currently 2.5 games back of the wild card, and it feels like they've been stuck at 2.5 games for a while. So let's just keep our foot on the gas and let's get this sweep against the Chicago White Sox. Now we'll discuss why this is a good opportunity to see who is part of the future and who should be trade bait. We'll discuss that in segment number 2. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to rugiet.com/lockdownmlb and use code lockdownmlb to get 15% off today. That's rugiet.com/lockdownmlb and use promo code lockdownmlb for 15% off at rugiet.com. All right, back here on the Locked on Diamondbacks podcast. And now let's discuss how, despite all these injuries, it's actually a good opportunity for the D-backs to do some self-scouting and look at their squad and say, who should actually be here long term? Who do we see as a potential building block, a part of the core, part of the future? And who do we see as just trade chip? Who it just, this is a good opportunity for them to come in, maybe play a few games with some guys on the injured list, raise their value, and then sell them when their stock is the highest, and maybe get some of that bullpen help like we've discussed, get some of that pitching help, because I do think with all these injuries, there's going to be maybe some guys that we've seen before, because we already know Blaze Alexander is on his way to Chicago. This is someone that had a really hot start to the season last year. Now he's coming back. He obviously was sent down because of his defensive struggles last year, despite how good his bat was. His glove was as big of an issue, and that's why he was sent back down to Reno. Haven't really seen him much in 2025, right? Kind of started slow, I think, due to injury down there. And so he's going to get the call up. We got Jake McCarthy, of course, already back up. And so this is a great opportunity for the D-backs to do some self-scouting and really dive into who should be keepers and who should just be trade chips on this roster, because a guy like Tim Tawa, he's going to play a lot more going forward. The defense in the D-backs game today was fantastic. It was giving 2023 vibes. Alec Thomas in center field, Jake McCarthy in right field. They were fantastic in today's game defensively. And so was Tim Tawa, because we know this is a guy that could play anywhere. Defensively in center field, I think he's been fantastic. But the way he rolled that double play at third base today, he can play literally everywhere but pitcher and catcher. And so for Tim Tawa, he's a guy that I look at as a super utility player that I want to keep in Arizona for the foreseeable future. I don't know if he's a 10 to 12 year D-back veteran, but for the next 3 to 5 seasons, Tim Tawa, I think, can definitely be a Brock Holt, Ben Zobrist, one of those type of guys. Maybe not as good as Ben, but probably in that Brock Holt range, who Brock Holt had a very good couple seasons for the Boston Red Sox as a super utility guy. I think Tim Tawa could do exactly the same thing, play 80, 90 games a season, maybe 100 games, play all over the field, provide some pop, provide some solid defense. I look at Tim Tawa as a guy I want to keep, but also could be a good opportunity for him to raise that value, and maybe you trade him in something that's kind of tantalizing to bring back a pitcher that can help out this bullpen. I look at a guy like Blaze Alexander. He's probably someone that I'm looking at as a trade chip, because he is someone that his bat you can easily sell to someone. Last year, if you look at the way he started the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he came out the gate scorching hot. Of course, he cooled off, but that first month of the season in April, he batted .311 with a .941 OPS through his first 61 at-bats. But once he started to struggle defensively, it seemed like it crept into his offensive game. And so because of that, Blaze Alexander just kind of fizzled away the rest of the season. But if he could come in and have a good 2 weeks, knowing he was a really hot player to start last year, I do think his offensive hitting tool is like major league ready. It's all about his defense and his glove. And so I think you can sell Blaze Alexander to another franchise and say, this is a major league ready bat. You just got to make sure his glove is right. Still only 26 years old. I think you could get a potential bullpen arm for him. Maybe you got to package him with someone else, but I look at Blaze Alexander as this is an opportunity to raise his value as a trade chip. Someone like Jake McCarthy, he feels like he's on the fence, right? Between him and Alec Thomas. Right now, Alec Thomas is winning the war of the outfield between those two guys, despite Jake McCarthy having way more success, especially recently. Feels like he always has a more uphill climb in that battle for the outfield. But if Jake McCarthy comes in right now and just, again, like last season, Jake McCarthy post All-Star break, where he had like a 300 average and an 800 OPS and carried the D-backs for like a 3-week stretch there in August. If he can give us some of that again, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this guy, like we saw today, making plays defensively in the outfield. His speed is always a problem. And now he's got that contact ability back, which makes him a great like leadoff option. All of a sudden, maybe Jake McCarthy is the guy you're keeping. Maybe Alec Thomas is the dude that you're looking as a potential trade chip. And so I think Jake McCarthy is always that guy that's sitting on the fence of, is this really a D-backs keeper? Because it feels like Arizona doesn't really love him. Feels like they're willing to trade him the first chance they get at a really good trade offer. And so maybe this is their opportunity to raise the trade value of Jake McCarthy and sell him when his stock is highest. And then one final guy who I think we could see potentially, he was someone that was rumored along with Blaze Alexander as a potential call-up today, but Tristan English, who is a guy who's a little bit older, has been stuck in the minor leagues for a while now, 28 years old. I believe he was just named Player of the Week in the PCL. He's having another fantastic season. Right now for the Reno Aces, batting .332 with over a 900 OPS. He's always been a pretty solid offensive player down there in Reno. Really crushed it in 2023 as well. This is someone that I would like to see just because we've never seen him on the major league level. We know he's a guy who is getting close to 30, who can crush AAA pitching. Let's see if that translates on the major league level. Maybe he's just like another Seth Beer type who's great at AAA, can be good for 2 weeks. But if he is Seth Beer, let's trade him at the end of those 2 weeks and sell him when his value is the highest. The D-backs already did this once with the Chicago White Sox when you had Dominic Fletcher come up for like 3 weeks. He put up incredible slash line. Then you were able to flip him in the offseason for Christian Mena. I think we're going to look back on that deal in like 2 to 3 years when Mena's like developed. He's potentially a mid-rotation starter, maybe a very good high-leverage back-end reliever, because I do think Mena is a major league pitcher. I think in a few years we're going to look back and say, how did the D-backs get Christian Mena for Dominic Fletcher, a Mike Hazen fleece? And so this is a great opportunity to see these D-backs youngsters and figure out who is the future and who is just there to raise their value for the trade market. And the other thing is, the D-backs during this time with all the injuries, they're going to need to play more into that defense like we saw today. We're going to need more Alec Thomas, more Jake McCarthy in the outfield. Lourdes Gurriel has been a Gold Glove finalist the last couple years as well in left field. And so this is an opportunity for the D-backs to get back to what they've been known for during the Torey Lovullo era, which has been defense. That has been their calling card, and it has something that has been lost in 2025. But with all these injuries, you can't just rely on home runs. You can't just rely on star power and talent anymore. You actually have to go out there and get back to your fundamentals, do some small ball, play defense, play clean baseball. You can't afford many mistakes when you're trotting out lineups like you're about to start doing, and when you know you already have one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. And quickly, I forgot to do this in segment number 1. We'll save it for segment number 3, actually, because I do want to give a quick thought on the D-backs bullpen. So we'll save that for segment number 3, because next we'll discuss why Zac Gallen should feel shame if he can't deliver against the Chicago White Sox in the series finale. But first, I want to talk to you guys about Monarch Money, because ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building your wealth. One reason why I love Monarch Money is because it has helped me cut back on my late night food delivery habits. I'm not only saving money, I'm also saving calories. So I'm getting shredded and I'm getting rich at the same time. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, back here on the Locked on Diamondbacks podcast. Let's wrap up the podcast by talking about this series finale and the D-backs going for the sweep, because, again, they need the sweep just like they did against the Colorado Rockies. You have to sweep the Chicago White Sox. You have to stack as many wins as possible. And despite the injuries on this D-backs team, because there are a lot of them, this is still a team that's better than the Chicago White Sox, especially when you have your quote-unquote ace on the mound in Zac Gallen, who should feel nothing but shame if he can deliver this start against the White Sox. I know it's been a bad season for our boy Zac. I still love the guy. He's a friend of the pod. We had him on at the start of last season, but it has been a struggle for him in 2025. I believe he has the worst ERA among qualified starters. He's definitely given up the most earned runs, 57 in the National League. He's also given up the most walks, 41 in the National League. And so the numbers are not pretty for him this year. And he's even struggled against the bad teams, right? Against the Colorado Rockies. Most recently, he gave up 7 earned runs against the Cincinnati Reds. He gave up 4 earned runs. He gave up 5 earned runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates. He gave up another 6 to the Colorado Rockies. Like, it's been a bad season for Zac Gallen, and it has not even gone well against the bad teams. But the reason it's different against the White Sox compared to those other teams I just mentioned is because the White Sox do not play against Zac Gallen. Colorado, they're familiar. They see Zac Gallen multiple times a season. They are not going to be fooled at all. Even teams like the Cincinnati Reds and teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates see Zac Gallen at least once a season. The Chicago White Sox, they have not seen Zac Gallen pitch in a game since 2019. This should be almost disgusting what Zac Gallen should be prepping to do against the Chicago White Sox, because Zac Gallen of the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, he would go into that game tomorrow. That would be 7, 8 innings of just shutout ball, striking out folks left and right, and not even feeling phased. Like, he would just walk off the mound after every inning, probably not even crack a smile, probably look serious and stone-faced the whole time. But right now, you can't trust Zac Gallen to do anything. And the reason why it would be so disappointing if Zac Gallen can't finish the job against the Chicago White Sox is because we've seen Erod go into this series, and no one has struggled as, I guess Zac Gallen would be the only guy, but if Erod can go in there and do 6 shutout innings and deliver 10 strikeouts, if Zac Gallen can't follow that performance with Erod throwing 91 miles per hour and just consistently putting the ball in the middle of the strike zone, like, Erod does not care. He's going middle, and he's attacking every single hitter. Whether he can hit it or not is up to you. But Erod is not trying to go out there and fool anyone. You know what you're getting with him. And so if he can go out there, throw a ton of fastballs, pound the strike zone, and get the tune of 10 strikeouts, Zac Gallen better be prepping tonight and better look like he's Nolan Ryan tomorrow, because this is a guy who previously would have dominated in the start And now we have to worry and be concerned if our ace pitcher can deliver against one of the worst teams we've seen in Major League Baseball history. It's insane to say. We saw this White Sox team struggle with the fastball against Erod, struggle with the fastball against Ryan Nelson. Zac Gallen is someone who has struggled with his fastball in 2025. The command has not really been there for Zac Gallen this season on that fastball pitch. And so if you want to get right, if you're Zac Gallen, this is the game to do it. It's against the Chicago White Sox. They have not faced you since 2019. This is a team of guys under 25 years old who are still getting their feet wet, who can fool pretty easily. If Zac Gallen goes out there and gets lit up tomorrow, and we need the offense to bail us out, that's going to be disappointing to see. I would much rather see the bullpen blow a game than Zac Gallen lose to the Chicago White Sox. But so far, so good for the D-backs bullpen in this series. Del Scafani gets the 3-inning save in game one. Then the bullpen tonight, fantastic once again. Ryan Nelson didn't go as deep as I thought he was going to go in this game. Again, though, Ryan Nelson is a guy who doesn't really throw a ton of pitches. Once he gets in that 80 pitch range, he does seem to wear down, and the D-backs are typically ready to get him out there. So he is the guy, 5-6 innings max. Even though it's going to be an elite 5 or 6 innings, that's all you're going to get from him. And it's probably because he's throwing 70% fastball. I imagine that wears down your arm a lot more. But after he came out, Backus, Thompson, Beeks, Murillo, Shelby Miller, the Quinto was fantastic. D-backs bullpen has been great all series. D-backs starting pitching has been great all series. You cannot blame the D-backs pitchers in this series. And the offense the offense was 10 runs in game one, and then clutch hitting in game number 2. And so everyone seemingly has done their job. Everyone in the lineup, everyone in the bullpen, everyone in the rotation, especially with all these injuries. You cannot look at any one D-backs player right now and say, you're struggling, you need to step up. It seems like everyone has stepped up in the wake of the D-backs health struggles. And so if Zac Gallen is now the weakest link on this D-backs team, and he's the one that can go out there and do his job against the Chicago White Sox, when you look up and down the roster and see everyone doing their job, Tim Tawa stepping in and making plays, Vargas was making plays before he got hurt, Backus, rookie, coming out of nowhere to be good, Juan Murillo coming out of nowhere to be good, Jose Herrera delivering with Gabby Moreno on the injured list, Jake McCarthy back from Reno. He went 0 for 4, but making stellar defensive plays, just casually batted 5th for the D-backs tonight. Like, if Zac Gallen is the guy that can't deliver for us in the series finale and give us that series sweep, Zac Gallen should feel immense shame. Now, that's it for this edition of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Come back tomorrow. I did have a couple more notes. I'm like, should I wrap up the podcast? Because I did want to mention Josh Naylor almost starting in this game today. He was in the lineup, and then they were like, oh, wait, he did almost blow out his shoulder yesterday. How about we scratch him? Just insanity that the fact he was even written in for like 30 minutes. So last thought I needed to get out before we wrap up the podcast. Thank you. Come back tomorrow for more Diamondbacks news coverage and insight. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Dose it.